This is Budapest, Hungary's capital city, and it was here that the Salvation Army launched its response to human trafficking in Europe. Human trafficking, by definition, involves the movement of people, often across borders. So the Salvation Army, with its wide network of core and centres throughout the continent, is very well placed to provide a coordinated response. At the heart of this response are 30 newly appointed contact persons, one for each of the countries represented in the Salvation Army's Europe zone. And this was the first time they'd all met together.
Dear sisters and brothers of the Salvation Army family, we are in a unique position as a Salvation Army to reach out to these victims of trafficking and to fight the evil of cross-violation, exploitation, subordination, intimidation, and even killing of young men, women and children.
After a few introductions, it was straight down to business, with conversations about what different territories are doing.
The big issue, I think, in Latvia now are fictitious marriages.
Not only the sexual trafficking, but very much the movie we saw on labor, forced labor, domestic servitude.
There's now documentary evidence to say 87% of the streetwalkers in that part of Zurich were Hungarian. I think we've started off very well by hearing from each other as to what's happening in the countries. And my expectation is that from this, people would have an immediate contact with another.
We are actually representing all the countries that are touched by this. And I want us to fight it with everything that we have. This is something that the Salvation Army should do something about. And we can do it because we're everywhere. And that's amazing.
I think it's important that we're holding this event in Hungary because Hungary is one of the countries which we would call a source country, where people are trafficked from into other parts of Europe, particularly Switzerland and the Netherlands. And so that brings the whole idea into sharp focus, being here in a country where there is that desperate need.
Next, Anne Reid from the UK gave some background to the Salvation Army's role in anti-human trafficking work.
Well, good afternoon everybody. It's a real privilege to be here, isn't it? It's fabulous, and I think it's been ever so inspirational hearing what's going on where you are. There's not an organisation more suited to fight this evil than the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army has been involved in human trafficking, anti-human trafficking, since its very earliest days. And the Salvation Army has once again stepped up into this area of fighting human trafficking.
During the conference, each contact person was invited to give a presentation about their work.
I picked this magazine up at the airport. This is the aerial view of one of the boats that's landed recent months in Lampedusa. And 2 days ago, the pilot was charged with human trafficking for 300 people. And it's the first time in history of Italy that a scafista, it is the boatman, has been charged with human trafficking. And I think God's turning the tide.
You know what the worst thing which struck me? It is that the trafficked girls, you never see them. They are locked. And they're going out only to go to the doctor. And you know what is the privilege? When your phone rings and someone says to you, can you please come and pick up some girls and take them to the hospital?
We are north of Turkey. We are just not many miles at all from Iran, Iraq, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan. And so, of course, these people are being trafficked.
I found today really inspirational actually to realise just how committed people are, but also to see what is already going on around Europe. And I think if over these next couple of days we can find out more about what's happening and then how we can work together, which is the real aim of the network, that would be absolutely fantastic.
And I really am positive that we will manage to come with some concrete steps forward.
most of us have had a good night's sleep and we're starting our second day, planning what the future holds for this quite important group of people gathered here today. So we start with prayers and then it's on with some work.
During the final sessions, the emphasis was on bringing together the information everyone had shared, looking at timescales and fixing goals for moving the initiative forward.
The task force group will be able to communicate this after the ENSS. So let's say we will do that in October.
Well, we've come to the closing meeting of this conference already, and it has been a historic occasion, I'm sure you all agree. Jeroen just has something to say to the contact persons.
All right, I thought to bring a little gift to you. It's a small little lamp, a little light, and it's a sort of a symbol for your ministry as a national contact person, so that you can actually bring light. It's working. Bring light in the darkness. And also this light is actually quite flexible, and sometimes you need to be flexible in this ministry. You can bow it in all sort of directions to shine your light wherever you want to go. So this is as a symbol for your ministry as a national contact person in the fight against trafficking.
Together, in God's strength, I'm convinced that we can make a difference. So I am now launching the Europe Anti-Human Trafficking Response.
I feel totally inspired about what can happen if we come together as a Salvation Army in Europe. I think that a lot can happen, and that's really encouraging. So I think just this inspiration and encouragement, I take that with me. Yeah.
I take away some positive feedback and some hope for that we can actually make a difference in this big and difficult situation.
It's beautiful when we gather together and then you found out the big picture of the army. And also it is the contacts you make here. You put a face into a name, and for me it's very important. That's why I praise God. It was wonderful to be here. Thank you.